Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drvoicetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. So good to see everybody. I hope you guys can see me and hear me okay. And uh, and so let's jump into the topic for today. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I just read in the media that I thought was really interesting. I'm not going to say it's disturbing because it's already disturbing enough in terms of what has happened to your hip hop music industry, where that industry lies right now, what they've effectively done to hip hop over time. I think that it's all deliberate. I don't think that any of this is an accident. And what's interesting, though, the reason that I'm even talking to you guys about this today is because there's a guy named Kanye West who's known for kind of saying whatever's on his mind, who really said something that I think a lot of people were thinking. I think there are a lot of people who felt that maybe hip hop have been sabotaged, that Black culture is deliberately manipulated and controlled, and that there are those who seek to benefit financially and otherwise from harming Black people, right? And so here's what went down. This is what got my attention. This is what has me talking, and I'm going to explain why a finance professor should be speaking on this issue because it's a really important issue for the Black community. So Kanye makes this point. Kanye West makes this point that basically he says that he thinks that Cardi B is an industry plant. He basically says that there's a leaked audio apparently where he's saying these things about about Cardi in particular and some other artists, and effectively saying what I think a lot of you were saying all along. A lot of you felt this way. And first of all, I want to ask you all really quickly, can you guys hear me okay? Give me a yes if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Let's do a quick audio check. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a quick yes. When I see the yeses come through, then that way I'll know I'm not talking to myself. I want to make sure my audio is good. And so here's the deal. So Kanye comes out and says that he thinks that Cardi is an industry plant. I could have swore he mentioned the word Illuminati. That part, I'm not going to get into. Some of you have different opinions and theories about the Illuminati. I've heard what some of you have said about this, and I'm not here one way or the other to tell you what to think or what to believe or anything like that. But I am here to openly address this question because one thing that I believe, and this is where I'm going to reveal what I think on this issue, first and foremost, is I do believe that there was something that happened with hip hop. Something stinks in the water. Something stinks in the water. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Something stinks in the water because there was somebody, some hidden hand that took one of the most beautiful, most powerful, most persuasive art forms in the history of the Black community, and they turned it into toxic garbage. Give me a yes if you agree. Give me a yes if you saw what I saw. I was around the '90s. It's about the time Tupac got killed, um, and I saw hip hop literally turn a corner that it never returned later on. It went down a pathway that suddenly women were just being disrespected in an unbelievable way. I want to apologize to Black women for having to put up with that nonsense. You saw Black men bragging about murdering each other. You saw now you actually have it swirled back to promoting and celebrating drug addiction. And anybody who knows what happens to a young person when their brain gets on drugs before their brain is fully developed, if you don't know the research, the scientific research of what happens to a child's brain when they get hooked on dope, look at DMX. Go look at DMX. DMX was a guy, a brilliant Black man who had a ton of potential, who could have been a great father, great husband, great leader, whatever. But he died young because when you get hooked on that dope at an early age, it messes you up for life. It messes you up for life. And what I need you to understand, and we're going to talk about the Cardi thing in a minute. What I need you to understand is that one of the goals of warfare is to kill your young warriors. One of the goals of warfare is to make sure your young warriors can't fight. This has been something that's been done for thousands of years. For thousands of years, in a war, sometimes you win a war not by fighting the other soldiers, but by dismantling them. Did y'all know this? That they used to have a chemical that they were trying to create where they could spray it on the enemy soldiers and make them all want to make love to each other. Did y'all know that this is 70, 80 years ago? Did y'all know? How many of y'all knew that? They used to try. I don't know if they actually succeeded. I got to go do the research. But they were like, they said, because if you're busy, if you're distracted because you're trying to put your you know what in the next man's you know who, then you're not going to be thinking about fighting. You're going to be thinking about trying to get some, right? So I want to ask y'all this. Tell me if y'all think I'm a conspiracy theory if I say this. I think that there is that there are weapons of mass distraction that are used to keep black people in our place. I think there are weapons of mass distraction that are used to make sure that your son, especially your son, never knows his potential. There are weapons of mass distraction used to turn your daughter into something that she's not supposed to be. So let's get back to the point at hand. So Kanye West makes this argument in a leaked phone call that where he says that he believes that Cardi is an industry plant. He even mentioned words like Illuminati, things like that. And he effectively says that she doesn't write her own raps and that she's just being used right now. So first of all, I want to say this. I want to try to make sure we can say this without it sounding like I'm attacking Cardi B. I want to make this clear because people got this this confusion with Lizzo. They thought I was talking about Lizzo. I wasn't talking about Lizzo. I was talking about Lizzo's owner. I was talking about Lizzo's record label. So Cardi B, remember the artist is the puppet. The puppet master is the person you must take an issue with, not the puppet, right? It's like I have this puppet here. This puppet is Charlie the Negro naysayer. And when Charlie talks, he might say, I don't think black people, Negro naysayers, they find a problem for every solution. Anytime you come with something good in the black community, they try to destroy it. I don't think black people can do nothing. Black people can't have, black people are stupid, right? Well, if you're mad about what Charlie the Negro naysayer is saying, you can't get mad at him. You don't get mad at the puppet. You get mad at the puppet master. Okay, so effectively, rappers, unfortunately, are the puppets. They're the puppets. The puppet masters are the record labels. The record labels are the ones who decide what music gets out. They're the ones who put millions, if not billions of dollars into various marketing campaigns. They are the people that decide what's going to be popular, what's going to be popping. They're the ones who can go out and spend $10 billion buying up every radio station in America. And they're the ones who we should have the issue with. Give me a yes if you can follow this. This is why a finance professor is having this conversation. People don't understand. They say, if you're talking about finance, why would you be talking about this? Well, because as I mentioned to you all, in my new book, it's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. As I mentioned in the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, you cannot have wealth if you do not have a wealth building culture. If your culture is mad, if your culture is jacked up, if your people are screwed up, then you'll never have any wealth because you can't build if everything's destroyed. If everything's consistently being destroyed by you, being destroyed internally, being destroyed through civil war, being destroyed through broken families, then you will never have any wealth. Don't even talk about don't even let the word wealth come out of your mouth if you can't get your house in order. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I want to have this discussion, because this is a financial discussion to some extent, because if you take away the people who control the finances, then none of this happens. If we'd had the money, if I was funding all of hip hop, you wouldn't see half of this garbage out here, right? You would see really talented artists out here with like Akila D. Honda, by the way, who I think she's connected to Rock Nation, something like that. She's a great artist. She's a great black woman. She represents black people in an appropriate way. She really wants black women to be respected. She wants black families to be strong. She's out here rapping. She's as good as Cardi B, without taking her clothes off, which makes it an even more amazing thing. She's as talented as Cardi B without taking her clothes off, and yet she cannot get momentum in this industry. She does not get the respect she deserves. In fact, she's performing in New York, by the way. If you want to go support her, you can go to akilasworld.com. It's AKILAH. Akila's World, AKILAH, akilasworld.com. At least go get on our email list. And I wanted to help, so I bought a bulk of tickets. So if you show up, you can even use the Dr. Boyce ticket. Just tell them Dr. Boyce sent you, and they'll let you into the concert for free. I already bought your ticket for you. That's how much I want to see other artists do well in the community. I don't want to just complain about what's out there. I want to support what I believe in. Okay, so feel free to go to akilasworld.com, AKILAH, akilasworld.com. At least get on our email list, support the system. So let's get back to Kanye. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. Just another reminder, if you agree with some of these things that you hear on this platform, if you believe in these ideas of black first, if you believe in black family, if you believe in black wealth, black education, black culture, then we're having the All Black National Convention October 20th in Atlanta. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. The group that's performing there, again, because we believe music is important, the group we have performing there is actually the Infinity Song. Infinity Song, their star of their group is Victory Boyd. She's kind of like the Michael Jackson of the group, but they are a family business. They're extremely good. In fact, Victory literally just performed for Jay-Z this week again, but she had actually already sang for Jay-Z, and she was so good that he signed her and the whole family on the spot. So this is the entertainment that we're going to bring to the convention. So if you want to come to the convention, just joined us, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. We're going to be in Atlanta, October 20th. Okay, so here's the thing with Kanye. Kanye saying that Cardi B is an industry plant is kind of a mixed bag, right? My brothers over at Hip Hop Uncensored talked about it. They did a great job. They talked about it from a balanced perspective because on one hand, let's just be honest. Sometimes Kanye can be a little bit out of pocket. Sometimes Kanye says things where you're like, okay, I don't know if that's really true. It sounds a little bit off, right? Because there could be some mental health issues. And I can confirm when I was on the phone with Kanye for many, many hours, I saw multiple personalities. I saw him really understanding what we were doing. I told him what we do in the Black Business School about the Black Core of Three, that we believe that Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, support Black businesses. The very next day, he texted me back. It's all in my phone. He texted me back the Black Core of Three. And I said, wow, he really internalized this. He really got what we were saying. I like that part of Kanye. I really respected that. Then there was the other side of him that seemed a little bit he seemed to appreciate himself a little bit more than what's comfortable, right? There's nothing wrong with being confident in who you are. There's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are. But when you're constantly reminding me that you're the most important person on the planet, I don't necessarily need to hear all that. I'm important too. I'm one of the best scholars on the planet. So, but I'm not going to sit here and constantly tell you that. I'm just going to tell you what the job is, what the mission is. I'm going to show you through my actions, not just through my words. And then also sometimes he would say things that I was just like, okay, come on, man. What are you doing, Kanye? What's happening here? So Kanye's a little bit of a mixed bag. And I'm not surprised at that video or a leak of him, because the whole time I was talking to Kanye and he was telling me some stuff that I wouldn't share with the public. And he specifically asked me to record the conversation. He said, I want you to record it. I want you to play it on your podcast, record it, play it. And then he would say, you sure you're recording? I would say, yeah, but so some stuff, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Some stuff I'm not gonna release just because I'm not hanging the brother out to dry. I think that there could be a mental health issue. And so in that regard, I think that that's accurate. However, Kanye is also a genius. Let's just say this. I mean, let's give it up to him for this. Musically speaking, he's a brilliant guy. He's very smart. He deserves to be heard on certain levels. And what I heard with Kanye in terms of Cardi is, I don't know if Cardi is an industry plant or not. Well, I don't know this. But the question I want to ask y'all is, does it matter? Like, does it matter? Really? Does it really matter if this was done intentionally or accidentally? Does it really matter if they accidentally are destroying your daughter or intentionally destroying her? Give me a yes or no. Like if somebody comes in and they do something horrible to your children, and you can only imagine what a horrible thing might be. I'm not going to scare anybody, but imagine if somebody did something terrible to your child. They ran your child over with a car and your child is dead. Does it matter if they did it intentionally, if somebody hunted down your child and tried to run them over? Or does it matter that your child's just dead? Is that really the actual thing that you care most about? Let's just give me a yes or no. What do you think? Does it really matter if somebody killed your child intentionally or accidentally? Well, I'm going to say this. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at all. I don't think that it matters if hip hop was deliberately sabotaged or if it was accidentally sabotaged. If they deliberately planted these artists that were going to teach young Black men to kill each other, young Black women to be the biggest hoes on the planet, young girls to sell their vagina for $2 in a bag of potato chips, young men to go out here and thugging and get high on dope and kill each other. I don't care how it happened. I just know that it needs to stop. Because I know too much. Again, I'm not just a finance professor who happens to be a Black man. I'm a Black man who happens to be a finance professor. So everything that I see in economics starts with the lens of Blackness, my experience as a Black man. And one thing I can tell you is in my experience as a Black man who has seen guys get 20, 30 years in prison, a Black man who's seen fathers taken away from their daughters, as a Black man who's seen what happens to little girls when you're introducing them to sex at the age of 7, a Black man who's seen all the death and destruction in the community, as a Black man who's seen what it's like to have a parent that's addicted to drugs, as a Black man who's seen all the conflict and chaos in our community, as a Black man who's seen the effects of broken families, as a Black man who's seen our economics get destroyed, as a Black man who's seen way too much. I can't talk about this without it sort of being through the lens of Blackness, and I don't really care if they did it on purpose or not. I don't care if Cardi's an industry plant. That's the point. All I know is that there are effects. There are effects of music. All I know is that as a guy who's taken way too many marketing classes, and as a man who's married to a beautiful Black woman who happens to be an expert on the brain, on the subconscious mind, and how you retain information, process information, and enact that information, I can tell you with complete certainty, without a single bone down in my body, that this toxic music is destroying your kids. And what's fascinating to me is that Everybody acts like it's so normal. Everybody acts, oh, it's no big deal. Blah, blah. But little girls getting raped everywhere. Oh, it's no, it's just they just being artists. They that song was so hip, yo. Little black men getting shot every week. Oh, it's so dope, yo. With the music, you know, it's the beats, it's the artistry, it's the talent, it's freedom. Are you serious right now? In fact, let me ask y'all a question. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. It's gonna make my point. You don't have to agree with me. I'm gonna try to make this point. I want to ask y'all, who is the white Cardi B? Can somebody tell me who is just as famous as Cardi B? Don't name some off the wall artist that sold 8 records last year. Give me somebody. Can you name one female artist who is white that's just as famous as Cardi B that acts like Cardi? That gets on stage rapping about her WAP in every other verse, raps about sucking you know what every day. Can y'all name one? Who's the white Cardi B? Who's the Asian Cardi B? Can somebody name an Asian artist that is just as popular as Cardi B? Give me a yes or no. I need y'all to answer me. Seriously. It's a real question. I'm just throwing it out there. Just saying, look, you ain't got to agree with me. Let me just try, okay? Can anybody name the Jewish Cardi B? No, Arthur, that's a good try. Miley Cyrus is a good try. How many of y'all think Miley Cyrus is as famous as Cardi B, is as lit as Cardi B? How many of y'all? Well, if Miley Cyrus and Cardi B put out an album, who do you think would sell the most records? How many of y'all think that Cardi's numbers would triple Miley's? Miley ain't Cardi. Miley ain't at that same level of fame and popularity. Fergie, I mean, come on. See, when you say Fergie, most of y'all, a lot of y'all don't barely remember Fergie. You can't name a single Fergie song. You probably can't name a single Miley Cyrus song that you know by heart. Your daughter certainly. Go to your daughter. Go to your 12-year-old daughter. And I want you to ask your 12-year-old daughter, hey man, I want you to recite your favorite Cardi B lyric and see if she has a favorite Cardi B lyric or favorite Cardi B song. And then I want you to recite your favorite Fergie song and see if your daughter can give you her favorite Fergie song. Your 12-year-old daughter probably can't have her favorite Fergie song because she probably wasn't even born when Fergie was popular. So my point is to say, when you look at Cardi B and you look at Black Megan Thee Stallion and you look at Lotto and what's the other one, the one that loves to talk about eating ass and all this other crazy stuff, you don't see the white counterpart to that. You don't see the Asian counterpart to that. This is because there's a certain type of ratchetness that they spill onto the Black community, that they expect from the Black community, that they don't get anywhere else. And if you think Cardi B's just Hispanic and doesn't connect to Black people, she's married to a Black man. She was speaking to Joe Biden on behalf of Black and brown people. She is seen. She's very, very popular in the Black community. If you ask a lot of young people who's your favorite artist, a lot of them will say Cardi B. A lot of Black people will say that. So anyway, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name's And by the way, my goal is to help Black folks get wealthier. So if you want free stuff, I know a lot of people don't want to pay for anything from the Black Business School or anything like that, or they think it's bad for Black businesses to charge money. Well, if you're in that category, that's okay. But so for those that want to do things for free, we have a ton of free stuff. We give you more free stuff. We give you more for free than a lot of institutions give you when you pay money. So if you want to get some free stuff, just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. I'll send you our $5 a day investing plan. I'll also send you a training on how to make money without working. I'll send you a list of AI stocks that I like, things like that. So just text the word stock to 31996. Also, as a reminder, this podcast can be found on Spotify and Apple. So if you have Spotify or Apple, just look up my name, Boyce Watkins. You can find me there. And don't forget, the All Black National Convention is October 20th in Atlanta. So if you guys want to join and help us with this movement, we would love to have you out there. You're going to have a blast. I guarantee you the All Black National Convention will change your life. So allblacknationalconvention.com. All right, so let me go ahead and finish up this conversation. So with Cardi B, we were talking about Kanye West coming out and saying that he believes Cardi B is an industry plant. I don't know if she's an industry plant or not. All I know is that she's there. If something is poison in my house, if something is toxic in my house, I don't really care as much about whether or not somebody did it on purpose as I care about the fact that it's there. And so ultimately with Cardi, what's interesting is that you've seen her say things that are incredibly horrific, in terms of, anybody remember, give me a yes or no if you remember hearing Cardi talk about how she used to drug men and violate them. Anybody remember that? Let me read this story to you. I'm gonna read some of this about Cardi sort of talking about this like it was like a bragging point and really being cheered on by certain sick elements of the feminist community. for doing what she had to do to survive, stuff like that. But literally, Cardi was talking about drugging and raping men, right? So Cardi literally was basically admitting the things that Bill Cosby was accused of. Now, I want you to pay attention to the difference. I want you to think about this. What do you think that there was a difference in terms of how Cardi, her confession of drugging and raping men? Do you think that there was a difference in terms of how she was treated versus Bill Cosby? How many of y'all feel that there was a disparity there? That, or better yet, if Cardi had been a man, who said, "Yeah, I drugged and raped a few women, but I did it because I needed the money," how do you think America would respond to that man? Like, does that sort of hit you on any level in terms of helping you understand the bias against the black man in America? Does anybody, or am I the only person who understands how sick and crazy this is? That literally a woman can brag about drugging and raping men and be hailed as a hero, like literally be interviewing with the president of the United States. Process this. If you don't think racism's real, I want y'all to really think about that. I mean, I need you to stop for a minute and hit the reset button. Stop living life based on your expectation. Your expectation is that black people get treated worse just because that's the way it is. I need you to really look at this from a position of fairness. I want you to really switch the gender. Let's start with the gender in terms of the difference between how the black man is seen and how a woman is seen, especially if she's an ally with white feminists. Right? Cardi's kind of seen as a feminist hero by talking about, her selling her WAP for $2.95 and getting your daughters to think about sexual things that they probably shouldn't be thinking about until they're grown. And I just want you to really process that for a moment and really think about just that crazy disparity. I want you to ask yourself this question. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that if Cardi was a man, do you think that she would have gotten away with it? If she had been a man who said, yeah, I drugged and raped some women. I only did that for a couple of women. I only did that, there's only a couple of women that I did that to. Do you think that there would have been a differential in terms of the response? So I point that out just because this is the kind of sickness and madness that people have normalized. It's very what they call selective outrage. You act so outraged about Bill Cosby. You act like Bill Cosby's the scum of the earth. Everything he ever did should be destroyed, and that he's a horrible human being. But Cardi B comes out and literally confesses. Bill Cosby never confessed to nothing. Bill Cosby said he gave women drugs for sex, but he never said, "I forced them. I gave them drugs against their will." They conveniently forget that a lot of these women were drug addicts. A lot of these, you give a drug addict drugs, that doesn't mean you can't really drug a drug addict if a drug addict is asking for drugs. Okay, so anyway, I know some of you don't want to hear this. Like, let me see, Designed by MI says, "You're just rambling, or you're rambling all about nothing, and all that you talk about don't matter. Like, either because people gonna like who they like, what they like, and where they like." See, this is the kind of ignorance that we don't really need on this platform, sister. If you got a comment to make an intelligent comment. Don't come in here saying something like, "People gonna like what they like, and they gonna like what they like, and if they don't like it, then they gonna just like." Stop that. Just say something more measured. Say something that's going to challenge me. Remember, I'm a professor. I'm a thinker. What you're saying is basically you're admitting to me, and I hate to say this, I'm not attacking you. I don't want to be mean to a black woman on the platform, but you sound brainwashed. You sound brainwashed. You sound like you just think you want honestly, and I don't want to point out this poor sister because I don't want to make fun of her. But there are so many, how many of y'all have heard of black people who say, "Oh, it's just music. It's just entertainment"? Anybody heard that? Give me a yes or no if you've heard people say stuff like that. Why are you tripping? It ain't nothing but music. It ain't nothing but music. People who think that way, and I hate making fun of people. I'm not looking down on nobody, but I got to tell y'all the honest to God truth. People who think that way are people who've never studied the subconscious mind. They've never studied psychology. They've never studied what affects the brain. They never studied persuasion. They don't understand that hip hop music, the reason the CIA was so interested in controlling hip hop music is because they determined that hip hop is the most persuasive pathway to influencing black culture that they've seen in the last 100 years. See, if you and I invite this sister to come join us. Every Wednesday night, we read Dr. Claude Anderson books like Black Labor, White Wealth. We've been reading books out loud to the community for years. This is free. Everybody can join for free. This is a free class offered in the Black Business School. Just text the word "stock" to 31996, and I'll send you an invitation to join the free class. Text "stock" to 31996, and you'll get an invitation. And one of the things that Dr. Anderson talks about is that the way white supremacy has tried to control you since slavery is they always say, what influences black people? What gets black people to move? Because they're not going to listen to us when we say it. We need them to say it. So what they used to do And I want to educate the sister. I'm not trying to beat her up and attack her. I didn't mean to be mean. I'm sorry. I admit I get a little frustrated at times. I apologize to you. But what they did, what they used to go to the pastors. Did y'all know that? They would go to the pastors. They said, okay, pastors are the only people that can really influence black people. They have their brains on lock. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell the pastors to tell black people that we're going to have them misinterpret the Bible because some of them can't read anyway. So we'll read it for them. And we'll tell them that the way you get to heaven, tell your people that the way you get to heaven is by being a good slave. Right? Anybody know that? Anybody know that history? How many of y'all know that history? That's what they would do. They said, look, we'll just reinterpret the Bible and have them tell people, like, if you want to go to heaven, you want to go to heaven, right? Yes, I want to go to heaven. Well, then be a good slave to your master. Okay? So effectively, it's the same thing to this day. Same thing to this day. Music is the most, you will never be able to have as much influence on your child, unfortunately, the way society is designed as their favorite artist. Definitely the way society is structured, where your child is spending more time away from you than they are with you. Right? They're spending more time at school than they are with you. They're spending more time with their friends than they are with you. They're spending more time with TV and internet than they are with you. It doesn't mean it can't be overridden, but I think that society was designed in that specific way because I think there are outside entities that have a stake in controlling the thinking of your child. Right? So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. We're talking about Kanye West comments that Cardi B could be an industry plant. I'm going to say this. I don't know if she's an industry plant or not. I'm not here to judge that. All I can say is that it wouldn't surprise me. And again, this is nothing against Cardi. Like my brothers at Hip Hop Uncensored said, and I agree with them, she's probably a pawn. If she's being used in this way, she probably just thinks she was really blessed. She thinks that, I think Kanye said that. Kanye said Cardi thinks that this is a blessing from heaven, when really there's a reason why you take a stripper who drugged and raped men, who will rap all day about sex, and make her the biggest rapper in America. You could easily do that with another great artist like Akilani Honda. Akilani Honda is better than Cardi B in my view. She's super talented. She's a young, intelligent, gorgeous woman that can rock the crowd like crazy. We put her music out there. It got 3 million views. That's how good Akilani Honda is. And the difference is that she raps about family, she raps about unity, she raps about love. In fact, Akila is so great that Akila doesn't even disrespect the artist that she has an issue with. She doesn't talk about Megan Thee Stallion in a nasty way. She doesn't talk about Cardi in a nasty way. She simply says something that, oh my God, why is it? I don't know why this is so shocking. You know what she says? This is going to blow your mind. You know what she says? She says, sister, we can do better than that. Sister, we don't have to take our clothes off to impress men. She says, sister, we can run the world. We can be great with our men by our side. She says, we can love each other. And so the idea, I want you to process this, right? Why is it that a woman who raps about selling vagina for $2.50, drugging and raping men, promotes a culture of homicide, drug addiction, and bad choices? Why are those people seen as heroes by the white community? But an artist who raps about family, unity, love, and prosperity is seen as dangerous. I need y'all, are y'all hearing me? I need you to let me know. I need you to meditate on what I just said. Can you meditate on what I just said real quick? How is it that the absolute worst, that's when it's being promoted by a black artist, is seen as wonderful, but the best that's promoted is seen as dangerous? An artist who raps about your murdering your son, raping your daughter, stealing your money, and making your kids ignorant is a person that will be performing at the Super Bowl. But an artist somebody like a Louis Farrakhan, who says, black people, read books, black people, love your woman, black people, take care of your kids, is seen as dangerous. Do you understand? Do y'all see the racism on the wall? Do you see the racism on the wall? I ask you this because I think that sometimes we get so thrown off by this distorted world that we think the abnormal is normal. But it's not. There's nothing normal about that. The only thing that can explain that the idea that Farrakhan is somehow seen as a dangerous person is that they don't want black people to prosper. It goes back to slavery, y'all. I need you to connect it to slavery. Dr. Claude Anderson, he connected the breadcrumbs for you. You go back to slavery, anybody who empowered black folks was seen as an enemy of the state. They were seen as a negative. They were seen as a weapon. They were seen as something that had to be destroyed by any means necessary. Why the hell, what made you think that the world has changed? What makes you think that we live in a different world now? Ain't a damn thing changed. Ain't nothing changed. Seriously. I come in here, let me tell you about my life. I ain't never try to hurt nobody when I do this stuff. I just tell my truth. I ain't never went out here thugging. I ain't never been out here killing and stealing or nothing. You know what I did? You know the crazy stuff I did in college? I used to take extra credit hours because I wanted to see if I could make straight A's and still take 24 credit hours. You know the wildest stuff I used to do is I used to write for the school paper, and I love my family, and I worked hard to get a PhD. I was the only black man on the planet to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002. I don't know a single African American, male or female, who got that degree that year. Okay, these are the crazy things that I did. Do you know that this is so funny. I literally I had an Instagram page. You guys knew me on this. Some of y'all follow me on Instagram. So you may not care that you may not notice I'm not there anymore, but they took down my Instagram page. Facebook said, we're banning you. We're banning you. And I'm like, what? Well, what did I do? Did I make a video? Let me see. Did I make a video about beating somebody up or murdering somebody? No, didn't do that. Am I promoting drugs and drug addiction? No, don't do that. Am I saying like I want to go beat up white people or kill people? Like, no, I did none of that. You know what I did? I educated black people. I educate the black community. But yet somehow that's seen as dangerous. But then you flip over and I look at somebody else who's got 3 million followers who's telling your daughter to become a prostitute by the 3rd grade. Well, I look over at another dude over here who's taking a picture with a big gun he's going to use to go murder another black man, just like he's a member of the KKK. I see another person over here that's got 5 million followers who's telling little black girls to go have sex with men without a condom. And I'm dangerous. Because I told them to put on a condom? Because I told them to not kill each other? Right? So again, now I want you to understand, I want to make it clear. I'm not complaining. I have backup Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Dr. Boyce Finance is there for a while. You can follow that until they take that down. Dr. Boyce Finance is my new Instagram, in case you're wondering where I'm at. I always have backups. And the other thing, too, is actually we do have our own social media platform that's away from Facebook and away from Instagram. It's called Blaggenuf, BLAGGENUF, BLAGGENUF.com. You can join there, but you got to have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, by the way you answer the short questions, we can't let you in because it's a place of peace, intelligence, and prosperity, and we want the community to win. So if that's not who you are, don't join. I'm not asking people to join. In fact, membership is a privilege. We're not going to let you in if you're coming here acting crazy. But if you are a person who understands where I'm coming from, then feel free to go to blaggenuf.com, BLAGGENUF. It's going to be rebranded as B1 Nation, though. Actually, B1Nation.us, but you can still go to blaggenuf.com and find it. All right, so anyway, do me a favor, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you have not done that yet. We're talking about Kanye West stating that he believes Cardi B is an industry plant. I want to mention also to you guys that if you want to train your kids on wealth and economics, things like that, we actually have a discount on our financial flashcards for children. So if you'd like to take a look at the flashcards, we have credit flashcards and real estate flashcards, all the things that you can teach your kids when they're young. Just go to financialflashcards.com. That's financialflashcards.com. Also on my website, boycewatkins.com. There's a ton of stuff there. The last thing I want to share with you is this. Des World says, "Can you say hi to me?" Well, I just said hi to you, pretty lady. So very nice to meet you, sister. All right, so let's finish this conversation because I got to get back to work. I got some stuff I got to do, and I know you do too. So Kanye says that he believes Cardi B is an industry plant. I don't doubt it. I would not be surprised. I mentioned to you guys earlier that it does not matter because either way, the damage is getting done. I'm not blaming Cardi. I'm really looking at the record labels that own these artists. And by the way, somebody growing up Jamaican says, "I haven't been missing you on Facebook. Where you been?" Yeah, again, when you get banned from Instagram, you get banned from Facebook. And in fact, my ban on Facebook. This is the crazy world we live in, right? Because I educate Black people on economics and I speak up on racial issues and stuff like that. I was reading a Dr. Claude Anderson book where he was explaining how excessive immigration ends up destroying the Black community. That excessive immigration ends up harming Black people because we lose so many resources. That's seen as being racist. Also, he also mentions in his books that affirmative action is it benefits white women more than anybody else. I just read it right out of his book, and I think reading Dr. Claude Anderson books is what got me banned. So not only did I get banned from Facebook, I kid you not, I want y'all to do a little experiment. I want you to go. Y'all ready? Go to Facebook and type, I heard, I listened to the podcast of Dr. Boyce Watkins today, right? And then hit send or enter, whatever. And then watch what happens. One of my students literally said that not only have you been banned, But if we say your name is banned on Facebook. Like literally, I didn't even mention this. I forgot to tell you guys this. He said, I put up a post with your name in it, Boyce Watkins, and it disappeared. He said, then I wrote it again and it disappeared again. He said, then I put B Watkins and it stayed up there. So literally what I think on Facebook, what they do is they don't just ban a person's page, they ban their name. Like you can't even, so you talk about censorship, right? Harvard University, ironically, has a big problem with censorship. They really don't seem to embrace academic or intellectual freedom, stuff like that. They were actually ranked among the worst in the country. So even your best institutions have been caught in that whole censorship thing. So rather than getting mad about it, I'm not mad about it. I promise you I'm not mad. We got platforms on top of platforms. I already knew these kinds of things happen. This tells me that what we're doing is successful. This tells me that what we're doing is working. All I am is a finance professor who's not scared to tell the truth, who has educated millions of Black people on how to invest. A lot of you are building wealth because of the things we talk about. These are real financial techniques. My PhD is very real. I'm not a fake PhD. I have a real PhD. You can go look it up. My wife has a real PhD. She worked with me. We created the Black Financial Therapy Department, and we are a Black couple as a Black family that is working our butts off to help the Black community. I will never apologize for that. I will never regret it. And don't worry, we gonna be good. We are the state of the union is strong. So as a result, we created the Black Enough platform because we said, you know what, we need to stop investing in Zuckerberg's platforms anyway. So we're going to go ahead and invest in one that we control a lot more. So at Black Enough, there's no censorship, none of that stuff. We just want you to support each other and love each other. That's the only request we have. So anyway, that's my experience. That's what's been going on. That's why growing up Jamaican, you're not going to see me on Facebook really anymore. So anyway, let's finish up the Cardi B conversation so we can go ahead and get on out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. So one thing I want to mention to you all, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't talk about this. In America is a declining society. Give me a yes if you can see where America is just kind of failing. So one of y'all call it Babylon. I'm not going to disagree because America really is just doing some stuff that is just not good for our long-term development. We don't educate our kids. They spend more time at school talking about gender and all this other stuff that they spend actually learning the actual academic subjects. And it's really going to be a shit show. Like long-term, America is in trouble. Every indicator shows you, every indicator that when they measure how well the kids are being educated says that American kids are on the way down. So what I want B1 people to do is I need you to understand that you are on the Titanic. You're on the Titanic. You need to build a lifeboat. Your lifeboat is finding some way to educate your own kids, at least educate them after they come home from school. You should be the first person educating them, not that white lady at school. Number two, teach your kids how to start a business. This economy is getting worse for workers. This economy is getting worse for workers. This economy is getting worse for the workers. You have AI coming along. AI is going to kick everybody in their butt. So what I really need you to do is really make sure that your children know how to invest. And make sure your children understand the value of the stock market. Make sure your children understand the value of ownership of real estate. Make sure your kids understand how to start a business, especially Black boys. This integration stuff, this is probably what got me banned from Facebook. But I'm sorry, I got to tell y'all the truth based on what the data says. This is not what Dr. Boyce is saying. This is what the data is saying. The data says that integration and all this other stuff and what do you call it? Diversity. It's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of crap. These institutions don't really practice diversity. They don't really want to hire your son. They're looking for every opportunity to fire him, even if he has the same credentials as a white guy. So it's very important that all your children, especially your sons, know how to start their own business so they don't end up like so many millions of Black men who invested all their time learning how to play football and basketball and chase jobs and end up depressed and unhappy because by 29, 30 years old, they cannot get the opportunities they deserve. Do you know how many Black men I have counseled in the last month? Do you understand how many Black men I have spoken to in the last month who are roughly 30 years old, who are depressed because they got a woman or a woman and a child, and they cannot get the resources to take care of that woman and child? Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm talking to you guys about real stuff right now. Do you hear what I'm saying? There are millions. There are millions. And a lot of it's because you get fed this crap about, go to school and get your degree, and and then you can get you a good job. No, you better be investing for that baby when he's young. You better teach that baby how to start a business with. You better prepare him for all emergency procedures. Let me tell you, I'm getting my pilot's license right now. I know I sound crazy and hype right now, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep going. God is talking through me right now, so I'm just gonna share the message as it comes out. When I'm training right now, as I'm training as a pilot, do you know how much time we spend going through emergency procedures? The reason airplanes are super safe, I can tell you, when you get on an airplane, you're really safe. And I'm good at flying airplanes now, relatively speaking. I can get in a plane, take off from the airport, fly around, do the radio calls. I'm getting better, right? And let me tell you, do you understand how much time we spend preparing for anything that can go wrong? We literally have to understand the whole engine, everything about how the plane works, everything to do, all the emergency procedures. What happens if the wing stalls? What happens if the engine goes out? What happens if another airplane is coming right at you? What happens if there's a deer on the runway? What happens if you're flying and you can't find your way? Do you understand how much time we spend preparing? How much time we spend in risk management? And what I'm saying to you is that we, as black people, we got to understand the same thing. Ain't nothing riskier than being a black man in America. Ain't nothing riskier than that. And y'all spending all your time at the goddamn club. I'm going to stop cussing. I had to say that. You spend your time at the club, spending money on random hoes, wasting your money on stupid stuff, not getting educated, not being prepared, not investing for your kids, not teaching them how to survive, not letting them understand from the very beginning that white folks don't love you, man. They don't. I don't hate them. This is not anti-white. This is pro-truth. This is pro-black. And if my pro-blackness offends if my pro-blackness offends your anti-blackness, then I cannot apologize to you, because to some extent you are not my ally. You are more like my adversary, not my enemy per se, just my adversary. Sometimes you even make yourself into my enemy. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my adversary is my buddy. That's not going to work. That's as stupid as the Buffalo Bills playing the Miami Dolphins and thinking that the Dolphins want them to win. No, there's only one trophy. A lot of times your son will be in situations where there's only one job to be had. And they pick between him and the white guy, they're going to pick him. They're not going to pick your son. They're going to pick the other guy. 9 times out of 10, same credentials, same everything. All the studies show this. This is not me being radical. This is proven by scientific data. All the research says this. So I need the research to override your brainwashing. I need the facts to override your feelings. I need that what you see and what is real to override what the fantasy of integration and everybody being equal, all that other nonsense. No, man, you need to be ready for battle, son. Be ready for war. And it's not even a physical war. It's more of a spiritual war. It's an economic war. They want to undermine you. In fact, the war is so deep. The war is so deep that the goal in the war is not even to defeat you. Because if they have to defeat you, then they've done it they've destroyed you in a highly inefficient way. If they have to actually defeat you in head-to-head competition, then they've made a mistake. Their goal is to cripple your son so badly, to destroy him so quickly in the womb or right when he exits the womb. Their goal is to cripple him and weaken him and distract him so bad that by the time the game starts, he can't even play. Right? That's like a football team playing another football team and saying, we don't want to defeat them on the field. We want to make sure the quarterback's in a car crash, right? We're going to go do like the Utah Jazz did, or some of the Utah fans did when they put poison in Michael Jordan's pizza. Like, that's what they want. They want to get you before, if you show up ready to fight, like you show up as a Boyce Watkins ready. Believe me, I get battles, right? I understand the game that I'm in. I never grew up with an illusion that white folks love me. I go through hell a lot of times. I get a lot of pushback, a lot of stuff, a lot of attacks from black and white people, whatever. But it's okay. I'm built for that. I'm ready for that because I was raised by a soldier, a Vietnam veteran who helped me understand early that don't nobody love you. But the mistake they made was that they let me through the cracks. They should have got me 25 years ago before I had my confidence. They should have got me in the 3rd grade. They tried to. They tried to put me on drugs. The one thing is they tried to put me on medication, like they do all the little black boys who are hyperactive like me. I'm very hyper. I know these things, but that's my superpower, man. They tried to get my mother to abort me. Then I would never have been a problem because I'm dead. I didn't even know that I had a chance to compete, right? They tried to get me with all the nonsense, the distractions. I grew up in that era of Tupac where black men were being shot up and sent to prison every other day. A lot of my friends, there are so many traps set for the black male that literally by the time he's 25 or 30 years old, if he has a typical black male experience, he has run into at least 20 or 30 situations that easily could have exterminated him from the game before the game even began. The penitentiary is full of probably 100,000 Boyce Watkinses, 100,000 men or more, maybe 200,000, that if they have been given the same scenario that I've been given, get pushed to do the things that I did, that who could have been just as good at what I do as I am. But instead, they got them along the way. So when I see brothers in the penitentiary, I see myself. I see alternative realities of where I could have been if I had followed the path. I think about all the black males I grew up with, and I'm not making this up. I'm not pretending. I'm telling y'all the truth. Every single black boy I hung out with ended up on drugs, ended up in jail, ended up dead, or ended up in a horrible situation. Everyone. I don't have a lot of friends that I kicked it with a lot when I was a kid. That where I can say, "Hey, man, we made it to the top." No, it's like, dang, he went back to jail. Oh man, he's still on dope. Oh, shoot. Oh man, I'm sorry that your daddy. I'm meeting their child. I'm like, I'm sorry that your daddy doesn't take care of you. Right? Those are the real life conversations. This is a real experience in the Black community. So what I need you to understand, this goes back to Kanye, Cardi, and all this other stuff, is why do we enjoy this? Why do we ask for this stuff? Why do we celebrate our own destruction, our own demise? Why I got to stand here by myself talking about this stuff? There should be a million other people saying the same damn thing. Seriously, if you got a YouTube channel, do some videos about this stuff, man. I don't want to seem like a weirdo just because I actually believe that something is wrong here, or that that the things they're doing are not appropriate. What they're doing to this music is downright dastardly and embarrassing. It's borderline demonic. It's some of those horrible stuff. But the thing is that it's an American tradition. Destroying the Black man, the Black woman, and the Black family is an American tradition. And I'm trying to help you understand that I think we need to let go of all fantasies and all illusions of equality, let go of all the false benefits that we believe that we got from the civil rights movement, and get ready for raw war. War is raw. War is raw spelled backwards. So get raw and get ready for war. It's raw war. That's what you got. All you got is you and yours. All you got is you and your children. All you got is you and your family. All you got is you and your people. Stand together, fight together, and you will win together. I guarantee it. Because when you close ranks and you hunker down and you focus on the things that matter. Like, okay, let's figure out how we can love each other. Let's figure out how we can work together. Let's figure out how we can be super prepared. We're going to study hard. We're going to work hard. We're going to bust our butts. We're going to pour into ourselves. We're going to pour into each other. That's how we're going to win. We're going to get gang affiliated. We're going to be harder than the Crips, the Bloods, and MS-13. We're going to literally be down for our clique 100%, and that's how we're going to win. So if you want to know why I sound half crazy every time I talk, it's because these are the things that go through my mind. I think that the only way you win a war is if you fight. If you do not fight, then you will not win, and you're going to be sitting there crying, wondering why nobody loves you. I'm almost done. I actually had something I wanted to read to you. I got on a little bit of a tangent. I hope that's okay. I hope my tangents don't disturb you too much, because I know some people have short attention spans. I'm not conditioned to do like 45-second YouTube videos of me like dancing or something. Like that's not who I am, right? So I hope that's okay. If you could do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I do have a new book. It's very popular. I hope you'll take a look at it. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And actually what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage, I told you guys, I don't want to teach any students. I want to teach teachers. And so one of the things that we've offered is the ability to buy them in bulk. And so if you go to drboycebooks.com, and we ask you to buy them in bulk, we cut the price significantly. I mean, by 40%. But if you want to go to drboycebooks.com and you type in the word, type Each One Teach One. That's what it's called, the Each One Teach One bundle. And you can buy like a bunch of books. We take, I want to say almost 40% off the price. So you can buy a lot of them and give them away. Because I believe that one of the things we have to do is we have to teach ourselves and teach each other. And so feel free to go to drboycebooks.com, type in Each One Teach One in the search box. The search box is up in the top left. You'll see a bundle where the price of all the books drops from $300 to like $194. If you want to, if you got it like that, you can buy a bunch of the books and give them away to other people. Everyone loves this book. It's very, very popular. It's a bestseller on Amazon. The reviews are extremely good. And I'm very proud of the book because it states literally 10 simple principles that a family can apply that will allow you to build generational wealth that will last for hundreds of years. It's written from the perspective of a finance professor who studied wealth for a very long time. And I know it's going to make a difference for you and your kids. Make your kids learn this stuff. Read it together as a family. I guarantee it will make a difference unlike anything you can ever imagine. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com if that's something that you'd like to do. All right, so let me read a little bit to you. I actually pulled up some quick research on and we talk about this music. We're talking about Cardi, possibly being an industry plant, at least according to Kanye. I told you guys that I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going to say it doesn't matter, because we know the effects of exposing children to hypersexualized content at an early age. So what I did was I grabbed some research here on what happens to children when you expose them to inappropriate stuff at an early age. Okay, so let me read some of this to you. This is according to academic research papers. Some of the effects on your daughter when she's being exposed to WAP songs at the age of 7 is number one. They say that exposing children to this type of content at an early age can have various negative impacts on their psychological, emotional, and social development. It's crucial to note that discussing age-appropriate sex education is different from exposing children to to inappropriate content. So some effects that might come up are confusion. Children may become confused about relationships, emotions, and their bodies. So when your daughter is 8 and she's hearing a lady rap about WAP and rap about selling her coochie so she can go buy a new car, it makes her very confused about the role of sexuality with relationships, right? She doesn't, and give me a yes if you've noticed this, that I hear young guys and young women talk about relationships today and how they become very different. A lot of that's driven by the fact that children were exposed to things at a much earlier age than is typical. Anxiety, they might develop anxiety related to this type of content. Inappropriate behavior. Children may exhibit inappropriate behavior, mimicking what they've seen. How many of you see this, where kids are acting out what they see? There's an emotional impact. They said fear might develop from fears or phobias related to this type of content or relationships. Low self-esteem. How about that? How many of y'all have felt that maybe little black girls don't have the self-esteem they deserve to have? And so because the self-esteem is low, they get on Instagram and say, if I show more booty, I'm going to get more likes. How many of y'all have noticed this trend? The booty to likes ratio has skyrocketed in America, right? Because basically you have the smart women, the women who actually went to school and did good things with their lives, who are sharing content that they'll get 2 or 3 likes for their brain, but the girl who shows the booty is going to get like 10 million likes, right? What else? Let's see, desensitization. They become desensitized to the content. How many of y'all notice that people just see it and it's not a big deal anymore? Social impact, impaired relationships. Surprise, surprise. Difficulty in forming healthy relationships when they are older. What do y'all think about that? Do you think that people who are exposed to this type of stuff at the age of 7 or 8 are going to have trouble forming healthy relationships? What do you think? Social isolation. They may isolate themselves or be isolated by peers due to inappropriate knowledge or behavior. Bullying. They might become the targets for bullying or may bully others using sexual language. Behavioral impact. Aggression. Some studies suggest a link between early exposure to this type of content and aggressive behavior. Premature inappropriate activity. How many of y'all think? Now, this is what's interesting to me, right? We talk about protecting black girls. Has anybody ever seen that hashtag, protect black girls, protect black girls, protect black women, right? Well, I'm gonna talk about something that I believe protects black women. How about we make a decision that maybe we don't want our 9-year-old girls to be exposed to inappropriate content when they're children. And maybe this might play a role in protecting them later on when they get 12, 13, 14 years old and they get targeted by, I don't know, all the sex traffickers that have made all those kids disappear in Ohio. Have y'all heard about that? Anybody heard about the fact that dozens and dozens, I think hundreds of children in Ohio have gone missing in the last couple months? Maybe you didn't maybe you didn't hear about it because the media didn't talk about it. Well, I'm gonna talk about it here. Lots and lots of hundreds of children have just disappeared, gone. Their mama will never see them ever again, right? And a lot of this, I think, can stem from the fact that sometimes when you're exposing a child to things that they should not see at an early age, they think they're growner than they actually are. So they go and they get in the car with R. Kelly when he's rolling by the playground looking for a new chick. They think, okay, I'm grown, I'm 12, I can do what I want to do, right? Plus, my mom was working all the time and she's on drugs, so I'm looking for male attention that my father never gave me. How many of y'all have seen that scenario? How many millions and millions and millions of times do you think that scenario plays out? This is why I encourage fathers, with your daughters, let them know you love them. Let them know that there's some black man who is willing to fight and die for them, who isn't asking for something in return, right? And so ultimately, this is what you're dealing with. This is what happens when you're look at this. I'm about to lay the trump card on the table. Spades, where you slam the card down because you got the big joker. I'm about to lay the big joker on the table. Okay, so here's the big joker. Some of these little girls look up to Cardi B as a role model. So many little girls can we agree on that? Can we agree that if Cardi B visited your child's elementary school, that there would be that the gym would be full of little children happy to see Cardi B? How many of y'all would y'all agree with that statement? Give me a yes or no. Would you agree with that statement? That Cardi B could be seen as a role model for millions of little girls. Okay. So if somebody's a role model, what does that mean? Let's look up the definition. Definition of a role model. What is a role model? A role model is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. Did y'all hear that? A role model is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. Are you following me? I need y'all to follow. Maybe y'all intelligent black people, so you probably see where I'm going with this. Here's another example. Here's another definition from vocabulary.com. A role model is someone others look to as a good example. A role model is someone who is worthy of imitation. I'm going to use that word imitation again. That's a big word. Like your beloved teacher or a well behaved celebrity. Just as a model is something that represents an inspirational ideal, a role model is someone who inspires others to imitate, there's that word again, his or her behavior. Are you with me? Are y'all with me? So if Cardi B is a role model to millions of little girls, probably one of the most famous most famous women of color on television and media. And we know that a role model is someone that you look to imitate. They use that word imitate 3 or 4 times in those definitions I gave you. What is it about Cardi B's life or Cardi B's values that you would ever want your daughter to imitate? Is it the fact that she was a stripper for many years and had sex with God knows how many men? Is that what you want your daughter on the pole? Is that what makes her a role model? Is that what you want her to imitate? Do you want her sleeping around with everybody that moves and then rapping about it? Do you want, it maybe, I don't know. I don't know if she's got any diseases from it or not. I don't know. But do you want your daughter even exposed to the possibility of catching all those diseases that you do catch when you are sleeping around with a lot of people? Is it the fact that she confessed to drugging and raping men? Is that what you want her to imitate? Is that what makes her a role model? And I'm not even go deeper into some of the other issues. My wife actually did a video where she actually spoke to the fact that she and other therapists are trained. Let me just say this: they're trained to identify symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome, and it was not lost upon her that Cardi is named after liquor, and her sister is Hennessy. So my wife said something, and I said, you got to be careful because people are sensitive. They're not going to understand this. And she said, we got to start really talking about things that we don't talk about. My wife went on Tasha K's show to talk about this, about fetal alcohol syndrome in our community. How many times? Because the thing about fetal alcohol, and not to say Cardi has it, because Cardi sent my wife a message on Instagram the next day. Cardi messaged her. She said, "Good morning. You'll be hearing from my lawyer." We haven't heard yet. I don't know. And again, my wife is a nice person. She's nicer than me. So she took the video down because she didn't want to hurt her feelings. Right? I said, you know what? Maybe you could talk about it from a broader perspective. Talk about other people. Let's not make her feel like you're beating up on her. Right? But I want you to ask yourself this question. This is going to be a question that's probably going to make some of you nervous. If you're a thinker, this should bother you. How many times have you ever seen a woman who drinks a lot who didn't know she was pregnant for maybe 6 weeks? Did y'all know that children, do you know, first of all, the symptoms of fetal alcohol syndrome are pretty terrible. They're pretty terrible. And social workers can identify it in your face. They can identify it in your behavior. They can identify it in your cognitive capability. Now, we're not talking about Cardi anymore. Let's talk about us, right? Because that's what I want to make a conversation about. So, given that this disease has such devastating effects, one thing you should know about it is that you can pass this to your child even if you drink a little bit during your pregnancy. Even during the time, women have that period, maybe several weeks before they even show or know that they're pregnant. If you're drinking during that time, like you're a party girl, you're a city girl, like Megan, I'm not Megan Thee Stallion, Young Miami was talking about how she's a city girl and it was bragging about how she's a whore and everything else. I don't know if y'all remember that. Well, if you're a partying whore, I mean, their words, not mine. I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying this is what some of them refer to themselves as. And you go get drunk every weekend, and you're sleeping with a lot of men every weekend, and then you forget that sometimes when you sleep with somebody, that's where babies come from. And so you're carrying this little life inside your stomach. Can you give me a yes or no? Can you imagine how many millions of scenarios there have been where there was a mother who was pregnant with a baby for a good 6 weeks and didn't know she was pregnant, but the whole time was going out getting pissy drunk every single weekend? Anybody ever seen that happen before? So again, maybe this is the stuff that I say that makes people mad at me. Maybe this is what is the reason I don't have any friends. And I'm not trying, but you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make friends. I'll be friends if you get what I'm saying and you're hearing me. Then you can be my friend. I don't need no other friends. But I really think it's that one thing that's very sad is that we don't talk about these things and we don't connect the behavior of some of our young people to some of the damage that's being done, sometimes even before they're born, right? If you look at how these poor kids on these shows like Love and Hip Hop and all that, and some of the crazy behavior they engage in, well, you can't disconnect that from the culture created by their parents, the broken families, what their daddy was doing when he should have been raising them, what their mama was doing with things like drugs, as well as alcohol consumption by their mother during the pregnancy. So this is deep, y'all. This is super deep. And if you don't start asking the real questions, you'll never get good answers. If you don't start asking the real questions, you'll never get to the core of what's been happening to your community. So this is my 2 cents. I'm sticking with it. If you disagree, that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. I just want us to listen to each other so we can learn and figure things out. And if Cardi B ever hears this and Cardi says, "Hey, I want to come and defend myself and talk on your platform or something," she's welcome to come in. Kanye's been here before, so in Ice Cube and other people. So I would have no problem hearing her out, because I don't want it to sound like we're being mean to these people. Like I said, with Kanye saying what he said, I think that really what's the best way to kind of look at this is that perhaps Cardi is also being used as well. And what happens in entertainment, because they view Black people in a certain way, they take people that are mentally unhealthy and they elevate them. Instead of giving them the help they need, they give them more money and more drugs or whatever it is, or more fame. Fame is a type of drug, so is money. Money affects the same region of your brain as cocaine, so money really is like a drug. And they pump them up instead of getting them the help that they need and saying, you know what, there are more appropriate Black people to promote. But because we think Black people are clowns, we think Black people have no ethics, because we think Black people are worthless, we're going to promote the worst of you, because we would never do this to ourselves. We would never promote white people or Asian people in the same way we promote Black people. That's why you cannot find a white version of Cardi B. There is no white version of Megan Thee Stallion. Not Britney Spears. What's her name? That lady, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is able to go and make $1 billion. Think about this. This little skinny white girl who sings okay. I know 1,000 Black girls who sing better than Taylor Swift, but she's good. She connects to her audience. Taylor Swift can go and rock an entire economy, make $1 billion, and not have to twerk once. In fact, watching her twerk would be almost hilarious, because it'd be like watching a matchstick or a toothpick, like trying to jiggle something. The toothpicks don't jiggle, right? So my point is to say that this is real, man. And if we don't start dissecting these things, we will never ever be able to control our own destiny. And that's what I want you to have. I just want you to have freedom. That's why I'm saying these things. All right, guys. So I'm going to go. Do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe if you have not done that yet. Also, my new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. Also, if you go to boycewatkins.com, there's lots of free resources. We have the $5 a day investing plan that I'm trying to get every single B1 person on the planet to consider. The $5 a day investing plan is a way for you to build generational wealth in less than a generation, really a decade. In 1 decade, if you do that consistently, you'll have more cash flow in your bank account than 70-80% of all Americans. So do little things like that. It's not hard to do. A 5-year-old could do it. I laid it out there because I want you to consider doing things that are going to fix these generational curses. I'm sick and tired of us being born in poverty. I'm sick and tired of us being born in ignorance. I'm sick and tired of us always in the struggle. I'm sick and tired of us having somebody else's foot on our neck. I'm sick and tired of watching us fail. I don't believe we should fail. I believe we're supposed to win. But if you're going to win, you have to have a winning culture. It's like when Deion Sanders went to Colorado, they were so super used to losing. So he had to go in there and change the culture. So now Colorado is winning because Deion came in with a different attitude, different personnel, different strategy, a different skill set. And now look at where they are. So that's where I want us to go. I want us to do in the Black community what Deion Sanders did to Colorado, and maybe I can be your Coach Prime. I have no idea. Actually, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but my last name, I mentioned this before. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know, but a lot of y'all don't know. My real last name actually was Sanders. My birth certificate literally says Boyce Sanders. Like, not that I'm as great. I'm not trying to be as great as Coach Prime, but I think it's funny because my wife mentioned it to me when I showed her. I got in this jersey. I won this autographed jersey from Deion Sanders from his Cowboys days, and I put it on my wall. It's right behind me. You can't see it right now though, but anyway, she said that's crazy that you got that jersey and you were born a Sanders. And I was like, oh, that's right, I forgot about that, right? Because my father wasn't there in my life, and I totally forgot that. Literally to this day on my birth certificate it says Boyce Sanders. I became Boyce Watkins when I was about 3 years old because a real man came into my life and decided he wanted to take responsibility from me, and I love that man to the end of time. Larry Watkins, that's his name. And I'll tell you what, you invest in young people, they'll invest in you. I paid off my daddy's house, bought him a new car with cash, whatever. whatever he wanted. He gets it because this man showed up for me, so I'm going to show up for him. So show up for your kids and prepare them for the future, and I guarantee you they will show up for you. That's your greatest investment. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Give me a yes if some of this conversation was helpful to you so I can walk away feeling like I did a good thing. Okay, guys, I got to go. Do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. This podcast is on Spotify. You can also find it on Apple. My website is boycewatkins.com. If you'd like for me to send you profit alerts or the $5 a day plan, stuff like that to you via text, just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys soon. Take care now. Peace.